Well. Hello there, frenemies, and welcome to another off-the-cuff video. And who you see before you right now is Jimmy Dore. And Jimmy Dore has got some interesting things to say. Let's listen to it first, shall we?
You can be court-martialed if you fraternize with the enemy. Do you know what that means? So if you're caught talking to the enemy, someone who we're supposed to be fighting, and you're not killing them, that's a punishable offense. Well, why is that? Why is that? Because if a guy shows you a picture of his kids, you probably can't kill him afterwards. It's going to be a lot harder for you to kill that guy once he's been humanized. Oh wait, you've got kids? I got kids. You got a wife? Fuck, you got a mortgage? I got a fucking mortgage. You got a shitty job? I got a fucking, wait a minute. Who are we fighting? They can't have that happen.
Okay, I think that's enough. So let's talk about the interesting things that Jimmy Dore pointed out. He talked about fraternization with the enemy. He talked about building a relationship with the enemy. And he talked about going to court martial. So, being ex-military myself, the words court martial strung a bell. So I decided to look up the UCMJ myself. So let's look at that right now, shall we? Here we have UCMJ Article 104, Aiding the Enemy. It says, any person who aids or attempt to aid the enemy with arms, ammunition, supplies, money, or other thing, or, without proper authority, knowingly harbors or protects or gives intelligence to, or communicates or corresponds with, or holds any intercourse with the enemy, either directly or indirectly, shall suffer death or other punishment as a court-martial or military commission may direct. Now, if you read through the UCMJ, there's a lot of you do this and you're gonna die. Now, is Jimmy Dore right that simply talking to another person would inspire a court martial? You know what? Before we talk about that, let's look at some other relevant text. This here is the Constitution of the United States. Article 3, Section 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. But, see, we have all that. Let's look at something else. This is Article 3 of the Geneva Convention. And Article 3, number 2, says the wounded, here it is down here, the wounded and sick shall be collected and cared for. Now, what we've got here is a discrepancy. Which one supersedes? Well, realistically, the Geneva Convention one supersedes American law because the Geneva Convention is legislation from the global legislative body, the UN. With all that in mind, though, let's go back to the UCMJ. Now, is Jimmy Dore right or is Jimmy Dore wrong? Well, it's a little more nuanced than that because realistically, what the UCMJ is talking about is communicating with, corresponding with. What it realistically means is conspiring with, setting up plans to do this, that, or the other thing. Now, you can disagree with me on this. This is my interpretation based on what the UCMJ has in it, because the UCMJ, in my opinion, seems mostly written to dissuade betrayal. Now, when Jimmy Dore says that the two people might get along and realize that they're fighting each other for the wrong reasons, well, then that might fall under UCMJ territory, but that would be more abandonment of your post and not so much aiding the enemy. It's a very nuanced discussion. I don't want to say that Jimmy Dore is completely right in what he said, but I don't want to say he's completely wrong either. I know Jimmy Dore is very angry about what's going on in the world. I'm very angry too. But the difference is, well, I don't want to say the difference is, what one should consider is whether or not you react to that anger in hubris or humility. Because I don't know about you, dear frenemy, but I would rather be angry at a situation born of humility than a situation born of my own hubris. And while we're speaking about the UCMJ, I just want to point something out for all those who are or are not military active duty. And that's this right here, Article 92, failure to obey order or regulation. Any person subject to this code who violates or fails to obey any lawful general order or regulation, or having knowledge of any other lawful order issued by a member of the armed forces, which it is his duty to obey, fails to obey the same, or is derelict in the performance of his duties, shall be punished as a court-martial may direct. Now, there's a single word in this article that appears twice. Hopefully you've caught it. That word is lawful. Many people think that the military is all about obeying orders. Even people in the military think it is all about obeying orders. But this is a very, very important word, lawful. This one word prevents the O10 of any military branch, which is the senior ranking military official, prevents them from ordering an E1 recruit still in basic training to perform any act they want. With this article, an E1 can go to an O10 and say no. This is very important, especially when we talk about things like the Geneva Convention, because the Geneva Convention is UN law. Now, why is this here? And why is it important? Well, hopefully the importance should be very, very obvious to you, dear frenemy. But why is it here? Well, that's very simple. Two words in an article. The Milgram effect. People have a tendency to follow people that they view in a position of authority over them for whatever reason. But this article right here is meant to prevent that. If I, in my duties aboard my ship, did not believe that an order I was given was lawful, and that does not only mean lawful in the direct sense, it means lawful in a more general sense, as in I was going to endanger the safety of the ship and my crewmates for no good reason, then I had the right to say no, I am not going to follow that order. Now you look at what's going on in the social spheres. How many people are just following orders? And how many people are saying, you know what? That just doesn't jive. Until next time, dear frenemy.